Why hello! So, as I said in my previous video about the TCU, I will actually do a small video here about my new car. I've got my E55 AMG. So this is a 2003 model, with I think it's fully spec'd. It's got heated and cooled seats, distronics, keyless go. The only thing it doesn't have from factory is the parktronic system, but I'm trying to retrofit it. So the previous owner of this car already put the sensors in, just none of the wiring, the displays and stuff, and he also put the button in. So I managed to find the parktronics module, put that in the boot. I'll show you that in a bit. And we're finding the wiring looms online and putting them in manually. So after that, I think it's a full spec E55. Let me know if there's any other options that I need to add to this to make it full. But anyway, moving on. So this has got the command system with navigation. As you can see, the screen's a little bit worn out here. And naturally, I've already started running my TCU in it. So that's where that little USB cable goes. It goes back there to the electronics bay back there. I've got my ECU running there for the transmission. And then if you notice down there, there's these two little prongs. So the one at the back is for CAN C, and the one in the front is for CAN B. And these are basically CAN taps that I can plug into with my laptop if I want to do some testing or debugging of CAN related stuff on the car. So I've got that all set up there with banana lead plugs, which is really handy for testing stuff. But anyway, let's turn the car on, see how she sounds. The battery did die earlier this morning. I seem to have some power drain occasionally due to the most fiber system for the infotainment system, but more about that in a bit. So let's turn this thing on. And apart from a few errors about the battery system, I need to change the control unit for that. That's really all that's really wrong with the system. Not much is wrong about this. All in working order, and it's extremely smooth. Why don't we go have a look at the engine? This is my engine. It's a little bit loud. I've cleaned everything. As you can see, I've painted the swell tanks there. The throttle body I've still got to clean up at the back, but I'll do that another day. The only other thing left to paint is the Mercedes emblem. That's a little bit worn out, but I'll get to that at some point. Yeah, it's really smooth. I'm really happy with this engine. It has, for considering its age, it's 2003, and it has, as you can see on the dashboard, currently 210,000 miles. This thing is running extremely smoothly, and I'm very happy with it. Nice and smooth. I did have to change one coil pack though, but other than that, it's perfect. Let's just turn it off now. Long-time viewers of the channel will know that in my 2006 C-Class I used to have my C200 CDI, I had a really basic Android navigation system installed, which I'd run basically rooted, run my own custom app on it, which that talks to the car over CAN bus. Now, for this lovely E-Class, I want to do something a little bit more substantial than that, which brings me to what's under the boot here. So, I'll open this up, and you will notice all of this here. So, essentially, the plan is, this is inspired by one of my friends, Alex, who's already done this to his 211 E-Class, and I basically just want to do what he's done, but maybe we can collaborate on, like, making a slightly better system, because his one did look a little bit sketchy. So I've got an AMD Ryzen based system here, which I want to build, and essentially the mini ITX form factor motherboard, which goes here, will fit perfectly where the navigation CD player is here. It actually fits perfectly. Alex found that one out. If you're wondering why I've got the audio gateway module here, that's because I'm debugging why it drains the power all the time from the car, and also so that I can keep unplugging the connectors and testing stuff without having to rip it out of its normal housing, which is behind that panel there, which normally means that I have to rip the whole boot apart every single time I want to take a look at that connector or any of the other connectors and test for PCB stuff. So this will be a very long-term project, since it's going to be pretty drastic. So obviously we've got the PC back here, which will have a custom daughter board that I'm slowly designing, which will house all the connectors for the speakers, as well as two CAN modules, so that I can speak to both CAN B and CAN C on this car, just like I did in my 203 chassis. And then as for the display, well, Alex did an HDMI basically adapter, which runs all the way to the front, and he's got a touchscreen at the front. I might do something similar to that, I don't know yet, we'll just kind of have to see where things go. But yeah, this is my system that we'll be building. And for those wondering, that is just a sound card. I'm just using it to test basically the 4-channel audio, because I could go with like I could keep the stock AGW module in the car and use my PC, and then just have an MP3 cable running to like one of these Chinese most decoders, but they're not really that good. So they only do right and left channel balance. I want to have control over all the speakers in the car individually.
Left, front, center, front, left, right, rear, left, front, left, front, center.
So for instance, if I'm driving, I want the navigation instructors to only come through the driver's side speaker. That will all be working on with my own software, by the way, but I want to have direct control of all the speakers, hence why I'm going full custom on everything, like the amplifier and everything. I'll be making my own amplifier. I'll be documenting all of this. As much as I can, I will put on GitHub this time, because I'm not sure if I can put everything out on GitHub with what we're designing and stuff, but I'll do my best to keep as much of it open source as possible. Anyway, back to the Parktronics thing. So this is the back bumper connector that we recently put in. I've also put the Parktronics ECU there. That's also one thing, is that the Parktronics module on these cars, if you put them into diagnostic mode, which is very easy to do on CAN bus, I can query each individual sensors rather than it just being like the front or back is detecting something. I can detect exactly where on the bumper it's picking it up from, so which sensor along the bumper is picking it up. So maybe I want to display something at the front, which is like a top-down picture of the car showing exactly where it's showing an obstacle based on that. But there's loads of stuff that I could do with this, which is what I'm really excited about. Anyway, moving on to the front of the car as to what's going to happen here. So essentially, what Alex did is he removed this command module and he removed the hazards CDC changer at the bottom, and he put a giant touchscreen in. I'm going to do the same thing, except we're also going to work on basic stuff so that features like the hazard buttons and stuff can still run even if the PC and everything is off, because that's kind of safety critical. I don't exactly want to have to turn the PC on every single time I want to use my hazard buttons, because there will be a touch button there, but I'm thinking of maybe mounting like a 3D printed switch somewhere in the corner for hazards or something like that. I don't know, I'm just brainstorming right now. But yeah, I think that's about everything for what I have planned. Obviously, engine mods and stuff like that for this M113K, I'm not too sure about, just purely because of the age of this car. And to be quite frank, it drives beautifully as is. I don't intend to like dump more power into it. I don't think it needs it. The only other, I guess you could say, performance mod is my custom TCU, which I'm rocking in there, which actually makes the car feel so much nicer than the stock TCU. I love it. And I'm using that for day-to-day testing, so whenever I go out for a drive, I do some testings, submit some code back to, or changes if you will, to the GitHub repository, which all my other testers can play with and see if it makes a difference on their cars as well. I'm just experimenting right now. But yeah, I think that's all about I want to say for this video. And regarding the head unit project, of course, you can follow me on Twitter and stuff like that, because I'll be posting a lot of updates there mainly, I think. However, again, like the TCU project, I might do a once-in-a-while big, long overview video of like how the project's come along and stuff. And yeah, I think that's it. So this is a very nice video to make, and I will see you all sometime soon. So goodbye.